Sometimes I battle with myself on whether or not I'm genuinely a happy or an angry person. But when I really think about it, 90% of the time, I'm happy. I'm singing or I'm smiling or I'm just doing some little stupid dance. And I've just become a lot more accustomed to not caring about what people think. But it still settles in my mind when people ask me, why are you so happy? And if they don't ask me that directly, they ask me that in the way that they treat me. No other situation makes me think about this more than when I was working at my first job. When I was working there, I was extremely serious all the time. For starters, it was a grueling job. It was heavy on my back and my legs, all of the lifting and restocking and carrying and cooking. And then you have the fact that I would obviously not be there unless I was getting paid. To me, when you're in a serious environment and you're doing something with a strict goal, there's going to be gaps and times for laughing and being jovial and having fun. But for the most part, you need to be serious and you need to be focused. And that's how I approached going to work. I made it a strict goal for myself to not be rude, to engage with people and to talk with them and enjoy their company for the moment. But when that was all wrapped up, I was going right back to being serious and right back to working. So it was because of that I made myself believe that's why my coworkers expected me to be serious all the time. But now I'm coming to the realization that there might have been some other motivations or some other thought processes behind why they would act the way they did when I was actually happy. Like I said, it was a grueling job. Typically, everybody was miserable after working a certain number of hours. But I know personally, even if I'm being serious, I can't work well when I'm miserable. So that's the moments where I really need to be happy, or when I take it upon myself to lighten up the mood. And that might be through things like telling jokes and being dumb, or just singing and giving somebody something to talk about, because apparently I'm not allowed to sing either. I don't want to come across as me just being an idiot all the time, and then that's why people get annoyed, because 90% of the time I have this serious expression, but I am feeling good inside. Like I'm feeling lively, I'm feeling ready to take on the task. And when I express that outwards happiness, people are confused almost. So at my job, after something really impactful happened to me, I made the deliberate choice to drop that serious demeanor. I wanted to show more of my true self. And I felt like my coworkers started taking me less seriously, or in other words, they tried to find ways to take advantage of me. For example, if I were to joyfully express the interest in helping somebody one time, the next time they would just automatically dump the task on me, even though it's not remotely my responsibility, and I'm going to have to eventually go back to handle my responsibilities. Or they would just show this general disdain for when I was in a good mood and they weren't. The weirdest part about it to me, as I talk about it more, is that they didn't try to get to the bottom of why I was serious. They didn't try to get to the bottom of why I would have a straight expression or why I wasn't talking much that day. It was just when I was happy, it's like, yo, you don't do that, bro. You're not supposed to do that. You need to come back to reality. I'm trying to think of why I adopted that very serious demeanor in the first place. And it's mostly because, one, where I live is in New York. So you can't just go around smiling all the time like a jackass. You're probably going to get robbed. But even deeper than that, I was probably noticing these trends from my coworkers in people when I was younger. I'm somebody who's about my business. I always handle my work first, and I always made it a mission to get good grades. But then, in class especially, I would just be kind of silly and goofing off if I knew what the work was and I could understand and do it easily. And not only that, but I would just use it as excuses to like go help people. But really, I'm just talking and laughing. And maybe we do get work done because I was surrounded by very intelligent people my entire life. But mostly, I'm just trying to have fun after the work is done. I think that's a pretty normal mindset to have. But no, adults especially will see you being happy, and it's like it's their internal mission to dissuade you from that attitude. And from my perspective, I always tried to understand it a little bit deeper, try to empathize with the teachers and adults a little bit more, because they're working with kids all day, probably a bunch of idiots that don't listen for 90% of the day. So it's not going to be exactly a happy mood that they're going to be projecting to the children. But at the same time, they're old enough to know how everything they do and say and everything that they are can project onto kids just from being around them. If they come in with that drab energy, like, I don't want to be here, obviously a lot of the kids are going to have the same energy. So if I'm making a deliberate choice to go against that, it's like I'm doing something wrong. And you see people in all types of environments where you believe the maturity is going to increase, where it doesn't actually work like that. They have the same mindset as those adults that just don't like to see children happy. Even my parents, to a smaller extent, would also do this. It's like if I'm smiling or if I'm laughing, they hear a big laugh from the other side of the house, all the fun is over with. There's some chores that need to be done. There's something I left out of place. There's somebody I got to talk to, something I neglected to do. It's all very exhausting. It's kind of like the classic trope of when you get that girl or you're getting her attention, she's laughing at everything you say. And then when you're together and you've been together for a while, now it's everything is a joke. It's like there's no winning. Going back to the job for a bit, one thing my coworkers really didn't seem to like is if there was one particular person that I would show favor to, it's because if I was serious with 90% of the people there, then it's like, okay, you need to be like that with everybody. You're not allowed to have somebody that you're closer to or somebody that you actually like a little bit more, because it's not a guarantee that you're going to like everybody that you work with. It's actually probably more likely that you won't like most of them. In the workplace especially, people just do these embarrassing things that are so high school-esque. I don't even know if they ever left. The last manager that I worked with while at that first job, I suppose he noticed that I liked certain people more than others, and he would occasionally send them over to like tell me things. I don't know if he couldn't be bothered or he couldn't have the gall to look me in my eye and tell me to do it, but it was like he was pulling from a management 101 class and he was like, oh, those people kind of connect. Let me see if I can send the message through them. And there's nothing I hate more than that, when people try to send messages through other people and they can't look me in the eye and have a conversation. All of this to say, I think I need to get to the bottom of it. Why am I so happy? Well, for starters, nothing is really wrong. It is unironically, unexaggeratorily, if that's even a word, a blessing to wake up every day and have a chance to do better. There are a lot of things that don't go how I planned. There are a lot of mistakes that I make. There are a lot of setbacks, but overall, nothing is wrong. I have advantages that other people go to bed every night wishing for magically to just wake up in my circumstances. And it's hard to envision how great of a bubble that I live in until something might go slightly wrong, or until I see somebody else's perspective and they don't have even half as much as the opportunities that I have, much less the things that I actually have in my life, the physical items. Even when I'm feeling my absolute worst, like I can't even wrap my head around how poorly my body or my mind is feeling, I'm just thinking about what can get me through this day, what can give me that extra spark of motivation. And focusing on what can make me happy is such a massive spiritual lift, because there are so many little things that can get me through the day. Whether it be writing a little bit, reading something, maybe it's a stupid YouTube video, maybe it's a quick workout sesh, maybe it's some video games. There are so many things that I can take advantage of. One of them being music. I love to listen to music. I love to actually sing. And I don't want people to be surprised by the fact that I'm just singing and being stupid sometimes, because that's what I genuinely feel. And sometimes you just need to express that. Not even sometimes. I'm going to go as far as to say most of the time. I'm genuinely sick of seeing people minimize themselves and minimize their happiness because other people around them can't handle it. It's not just me, because I think I've learned a little bit about how to be and project more of myself without worrying about other people's opinions. But there are just other people that haven't done that as much. And you can see them immediately learn to be less than themselves when other people are around and they're just attacking them with words or without words with negative energy. And I don't want to be too cliche as I talk about this, because there are other things that make me happy. For example, the chance to make something better right now with this YouTube channel. My current circumstances don't exactly reflect where I want to be and who I want to be, but there's a chance here. There could be a time where my computer is just acting stupid and I could get so frustrated that my body actually gets hot. Like, I get incensed. And then I'm sitting back and I think like, yo, I'm just happy that this thing works almost all of the time. This rare instance is not enough to bring me down. The crazy thing is, in general, I used to believe from the bottom of my heart that the phrase was the good outweighs the bad because the bad will always outnumber the good. I felt that you had to focus on the good sometimes simply because the number of bad things that are happening will always be happening. There's always going to be a plethora of negative energy, things not going your way, and you essentially have to figure out a way to weave through that. But a simple change in perspective can change how you go through your everyday life, or at least I do that in my case. By realizing that the good massively outnumbers the bad, that is what people should say, that is what people should talk about. There was a period where I walked around with a physical weight on my back, and this period went on for years. It was kind of in the latter half of high school up until my first or second year of college. And one day I was walking home really late from work and I realized that there's this weight on my back, but it's not my actual book bag. It's not anything physical. This is something that I'm carrying internally because I feel like I just don't have enough, or I feel like I don't have the energy or the time or the resources to transform my life immediately. And I don't know what took over me in that moment, but I just took a deep breath and I physically repelled the pressure off my back. That is a strategy. I wish I could remember the date, but that is a strategy that I routinely have to catch myself and then re-implement into my life. It is not like I can wake up and all of the pressure is just gone. If I don't deliberately focus on being happy, I won't be. I would love to tell you that it's natural. I would love to tell you that I'm always jovial and hopping and skipping around, but it takes a deliberate focus that I realize a lot of people don't even bother to cultivate because other people are always telling them to feel the same emotions as them. And I'm definitely not suggesting that you fake it until you make it. My main takeaways from this video that I want you to take is that you need to exhale the pressure off of yourself every now and then. And also, you need to notice when people are making an effort to bring you down to their level because it's not worth it. It's not worth engaging in that behavior or that face or that extra seriousness just so you can assimilate or avoid the gaze of certain people. It is a relief to be happy. It is a relief to focus on what you have that gives you advantages some people dream about every night. If anything I said resonated with you, please drop a like and tell me some of the weird instances where you've noticed people are not okay with you being happy. I'll see y'all in the next one.